President Biden was the clear favorite of Twitter employees when it came to 2020 campaign donations. According to the Center for Responsive Politics, Twitter employees and their families donated nearly 64 times more to Joe Biden than they did to Donald J. Trump, $193,000 to about $3,000. And Twitter employees' overall political donations were a 98 to 2% split, Democrats over Republicans. On top of that, Twitter gave Biden what Politico calls a priceless gift when it permanently banned Trump earlier in January. Joe Concha, Fox News contributor and media politics columnist, is here. Joe, I know you feel strongly about this idea because it's supposed to be an equal platform when you get government protection like a Section 230.
Yeah, and what I've noticed, and when I was told what we're going to talk about today in terms of a topic, I went and looked and couldn't really find all that much chatter from the Democratic-controlled Senate or House or the Oval Office as far as Section 230 is concerned. I thought that was something that Democrats were behind and can work in a bipartisan manner with Republicans as far as modifying or eliminating that altogether. But when you look at the numbers that you just shared, right, a 98% to 2% split between Democratic donations to Republican donations. You remember what happened going into the election as far as stories being suppressed, censored, conservatives' accounts being locked out of their accounts, or even the New York Post for that matter. And now Politico obviously pointing out that, yeah, I don't see it as a gift, by the way, to President Trump as far as taking him off Twitter. I think it's probably one of the better things that's ever happened to him. It only makes him look like a martyr now at this point.
Why does it matter so much, do you think, how people donate with the way that they do their jobs at Twitter?
Oh, well, I'm not terribly surprised by it, right? Because in Silicon Valley, you know, California, San Francisco, that area, Bay Area, I'm pretty sure probably the vote probably matches the way the donations split out, right, as far as who voted for Biden, who voted for Trump. So, yeah, it's an overwhelmingly liberal area. The employees are primarily X amount of age and down in terms of being younger, and they tend to kind of vote more liberal anyway. So I'm not surprised. People can do what they want to do. The problem is when they can't separate their personal donations from the way they do their jobs. And clearly the way they do their jobs now is to favor one side and not the other. And that's something that, again, we talked about this before, I think, more than 80% of adults get their news from social media. And when that platform now is being manipulated to favor one side, that's dangerous, and it has no regulation whatsoever.
Well, and it's not telling us that it is, right? I mean, if you're going someplace and it's telling you this is what we are, then that's a lot different. I want to move to this. The media appearing to let the anti-Trump Lincoln Project skate after one of its co-founders, John Weaver, you see him here, was accused of making unsolicited advances toward 21 young men. Group Only officially responding yesterday after a report in the New York Times. The group in a statement said it is shocked and disgusted. However, some outlets like the Daily Caller are claiming the media ignored the story. 3 Lincoln Project co-founders have been on MSNBC at least 17 times since the story broke on January 11th, Joe. Not a single question to any of them about this scandal. It wasn't until today that the Lincoln Project's George Conway was asked about it in the final seconds of an interview on Morning Joe. Your thoughts?
Yeah, and a great answer from Mr. Kellyanne Conway, who no one would pay attention to whatsoever if not for his wife. So it'll be fun to watch him slip into irrelevance again. But yeah, he said, quote, I didn't know John very well. You didn't know him very well. You co-founded this Lincoln Project thingy, raised more than $80 million last year going into the election. And oh, by the way, there's a op-ed in the New York Times that you co-wrote with Mr. Weaver talking about how horrible Republicans and Trump are. So you're collaborating with him, you're founding this project, millions of dollars raised, and you barely knew him. It is laughable to see a lie like that told on national television. But again, I think the Lincoln Project's going to go the way of irrelevance now that Donald Trump's no longer on the stage. And that's a very good thing for the rhetoric and the tone and conversation that we're having in politics, Harris.
I was just curious about whether or not any of these 21 young men who were discriminated against and sexually harassed, and when you read some of the tweets, I mean, it's pretty awful, if they would have a case against Lincoln Project. I don't know if that's the case. I mean, what Rick Wilson and others with the group have said is, well, we weren't all in one location together, so we couldn't see what was going on. I don't know what
Yeah.
attorneys will make of that if there are any involved. Joe Concha, thank you very much.